Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All righty. The Purple Daily Anonymous tip line rocking again this week. It's picking up steam. Last week, the Asante Samuel Jr. stuff got aggregated all over the internet. There's one this week that you guys spotted it first, and then we kind of kicked it around the text thread. And it's the Packers related one. And I was going to ask you guys, and I forgot before we started the show. Do you think it's even irresponsible to read that one? Like, that one is
the Packers
pretty wild.
Yes, now I'm remembering. I was like, what was the Packers one? Now I'm remembering it.
I've got it loaded. I've got it loaded here, so.
I think we should share.
Should we share it, Judd?
I was going to say, you've thrown it out there now, so it's hard to walk it back.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll throw it out there.
It is irresponsible for sure. The question is, do we care? Because it's the Packers.
But it's the Packers very much involving the Vikings, too.
Yeah.
So that's our sort of tie-in.
Well, I mean, I think it's too late to walk it back, but.
All right. Well, we'll get to it here on Feedback Friday. We have a snake draft of the week ready to rock and roll, but we also have a quick trip ready to start our Friday here.
Yeah, and guess what? Quick Trip it's a lot of things, but probably most importantly, it is a grocery store, but it's a convenience store. So, those trips to the grocery store where you got to go down aisle 7, then you got to run to aisle 10, and you're going back and forth, and you're like, how much time do I have to spend here? At Quick Trip, you know what? It's all streamlined. It's all simple. As you are seeing right here, all of the options at Quick Trip, the food is absolutely outstanding. So if you're going to work and let's say you forgot lunch, you're like, what am I going to do? I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to make a quick stop at Quick Trip and you are going to get something that is going to be delicious. The service is going to be outstanding. And now you're saying, Sports Dad, that all sounds great, but I'm late for work. I don't have time to go in anywhere, and that's fine too. You know why? Because you just put the app on your phone at Quick Trip, you pull up, they bring it out to you, voila, it is done just like that. Quick Trip, most important thing, lives up to its name.
Yes, so it's a quick trip. See what you did there.
Yeah. See what I'm doing?
The 2025 Purple Daily Draft Party is also less than 3 weeks away, presented by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. And just a reminder, you can get tickets at scorenorth.com/draft. We're back at the Fillmore in Minneapolis, Thursday, April 24th at 7 p.m. Join hundreds of fellow Vikings fans and Purple Daily listeners and viewers and celebrate an amazing free agency period and whatever the Vikings decide to do in the draft. scorenorth.com/draft. A shout out again to Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, Two Men in a Junk Truck, Roku, and all of our awesome partners that help put this event on for the 4th consecutive year. All right, we'll get to the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line, but there's some good stuff to get to here before we do. This one from Dustin. He emails the feedback tab inside the Score North app and says this could be a topic for maybe an entire episode, but I was planning to ask after the draft, so feel free to delay it. No. We're going to do it right now, Dustin. This is good stuff. Since the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in Mahomes' first year, actually, they won the Super Bowl in his second year. They went to the AFC Championship game in his first year as a starter.
Okay. Yep. Yes, that's right.
So just to clarify here.
Yep.
But he sat as a rookie, and then they had major success. It would be interesting if you guys could compare the Vikings roster going into this season to the Chiefs roster during Patrick Mahomes' first year as a starter. I'm not saying McCarthy is Mahomes, but going into that season, no one had any idea how good Mahomes was and would become. Is the Vikings supporting cast for McCarthy just as good or better than what Mahomes had his first year as a starter?
I looked at this this morning after you sent us the question, and I looked at the skill position players, especially on offense. Now, Travis Kelce was the tight end in KC. He was not Travis Kelce at the time, but he was still an emerging, very good player.
Yeah.
Are the Vikings as good at tight end there? I like Hawkinson. I'm not sure that the answer is yes, but here's the rub. Here's the difference. The wide receivers. Tyreek Hill was there. The wide receivers were good in Kansas City. And most teams don't have Justin freaking Jefferson. Mm-hmm. Addison behind him. Now, let's add on the threat of, for really the first time in O'Connell's tenure here, the threat of what looks to be a very credible run game that they're going to devote to, which is going to help out. What was that?
Was that like God sending?
I don't know.
What was that? That was an insane
Patrick
flare.
Mahomes heard me. He doesn't like my comparison. That was very odd.
Struck down live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel.
And what's weird is I've got a towel pinned up on my window here, has been for years, to avoid that very
It's
roll.
coming from inside
the house.
the house.
Could be haunted. The house is old. It could be haunted. I'm not joking.
Wow.
But I mean, I like ghosts, so that's fine. Anyway, long story short.
Wait, we might need to dig on that.
Yeah, well,
when did
talk
you
about
start?
it.
When did you discover your like for ghosts?
Ghosts don't scare me. Ghosts don't scare me. Ghosts are. I believe in ghosts, but they're not. But they're not, in my opinion, mean spirited. They are just hovering around sometimes. It's very interesting.
What about clowns?
On principle, I don't like clowns. Just on principle, it's just one is I don't like the circus. So, and second of all,
I'm with Judd. I don't need to go to the circus.
Yeah, like what's the circus
You're
about?
good on the circus.
Like what are you doing going to a circus? Like when I was a kid and my parents dragged me there, to me it's depressing.
It's not depressing.
Clowns are depressing.
There's acrobats and there's cotton
It's
candy.
sad though,
and
but they're
there's,
on the road constantly, and they're probably it's just sort of a weird lifestyle, the gypsy lifestyle. Don't like it. But I don't mind ghosts. But to get back to the question, so I do think the skill position players on the Vikings and what they're going to do to a haunted house. Haunted houses are fake. Those aren't real. What the Vikings are going to do from a skill position standpoint, yes, we cannot make any comparisons between what Patrick Mahomes became in his first season as a starter and current present day right now, J.J. McCarthy. But I thought this was a really good question.
It's a fun question. Because the question centers around the supporting cast of the Chiefs.
Correct.
So there's two components here. There's the infrastructure for the quarterback.
Yep.
And then there's the second component to the question, which is the quarterback. So let's drill down even more on the infrastructure. You hit on some of this stuff, but the 2018 Chiefs, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce were easily their two headline weapons. And then they had like Sammy Watkins was a good veteran receiver. Like Kareem Hunt was a quality running back, I guess. And it was a lot of other kind of pieces by committee. You could make a very strong case that the sheer weapons that this Vikings team has, the double-headed monster at running back now with Jordan Mason, TJ Hawkinson, maybe not quite Travis Kelce from 6 years ago, but a really good pass-catching receiver. Jordan Addison, easily better than the number 2 option in Kansas City. I would say this version of Justin Jefferson, every bit, if not better, than Tyreek Hill. Weapons might be a check for the Vikings. Now, Andy Reid as a head coach counts for the infrastructure. You'd probably put him on a different level than Kevin O'Connell, even though everyone loves Kevin O'Connell. To this point, you have to put Reid on a different level. Offensive line, according to Pro Football Focus, the 2018 Chiefs had a top 5 pass protection offensive line and a top 10 run blocking offensive line. This year's Vikings, I think, would hope to achieve top 10 status in both those categories, minimum, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, and yes. And also they have finally, and the proof is in the pudding here, look at the investments now, too.
Yep.
Every position but left guard, you're paying a lot.
But here's the biggest difference between the 2025 Vikings on paper and the 2018 Chiefs. The Chiefs were 24th in scoring defense and yardage defense. Now, digging between the lines, they led the NFL in sacks. They had 3 high-end pass rushers, including a young Chris Jones, and they were 5th in takeaway percentage. So they intercepted a lot of passes. They sacked a lot of quarterbacks, but they gave up a ton of points. This year's Vikings defense is miles better than that Chiefs defense in 2018.
Yeah.
So you could make an argument that infrastructure-wise, 2025 Vikings better than 2018 Chiefs. Does that then mean that J.J. McCarthy is destined to be the NFL MVP and throw 50 touchdown passes like Patrick Mahomes? No, I don't think so.
And you're right too, though. It's probably a pretty important comparison is the coaches, and more importantly than the coaches, the play calling. Like O'Connell's a good play caller, Andy Reid is among probably the best of all time. So, like, that's a big one, too. But I do like the fact that, to go back to the offensive line, that the Vikings, unless they have guys get hurt, this is a case where now we can't complain and say they didn't spend there.
Yeah.
Which has
been they've also spent like draft capital. Ezra Cleveland was a second-round pick, and Garrett Bradbury was a first-round pick.
Darisaw was a first-round pick.
Ingram and O'Neal were second-round picks.
But, I mean, there is a heavy investment in that line now.
Yeah, it's, but at the end of the day, hey, infrastructure is great. Patrick Mahomes had one of the greatest quarterback seasons in the history of the NFL in 2018. It was his highest career single-season QBR, too. Like, he's never quite replicated the 2018 season, his first as a starter. That's an impossible bar to set and clear for any first-year starter.
Fair to say, though, that the Vikings are giving J.J. McCarthy everything possible to be very successful, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like, that's amazing. A fair statement.
The fact that you can pretty definitively say that the infrastructure he's being given is on par with the infrastructure Patrick Mahomes was given in 2018, or close to it, is a pretty powerful thing to be able to say. Andy Herbacek says, I hope this message finds you well. First, I got to start by saying I love listening to you guys, but I think you need to pump the brakes on this upcoming 2025 season. I've heard you say for a while that you're all in for a Super Bowl season in 2025. But let me ask you this. When was the last time a team won a Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback? And he kind of goes through the different reasons why we should pump the brakes here. To what extent are we all in on 2025, and or to what extent should we pump the brakes on our commentary?
I guess I'd like to define pump the brakes a little bit, because I think when you have a team that invests as much as the Vikings did now, in part because they got cap space, but like, I'm sorry, but in April, I'm not going to say, oh boy, I don't know about this team. Like, they've spent a lot. They have had a 2024 free agent class proved itself as being really, really good. 25, they have invested. Now, it's older guys. They might get hurt. It's football. I don't know. But this is one where until McCarthy like struggles, at which point we'll talk about it, I'm reluctant to pump the brakes and like try to be as much as I can be, and at times love to be the Buzz Killington of the show. I'm not going to do it in April when I see a team that's making a heavy investment in being competitive. And by the way, that investment is not to be competitive in 2026. It's to be competitive this coming season.
I think we also have to be prepared for the win total potentially going down, which is fine. Like, it's okay if they win 11 games and they maybe look a little more honed, or J.J. McCarthy doesn't melt in big games. Like, that part, I think, like, regression is normal. So, like, pumping the brakes or being prepared for that, I think, is 100% on the table. And don't get too worried, oh, they're only a 10 or 11 win team. Well, McCarthy is, like, legitimate, and they've lost some close games. They have a very tough home schedule that we laid out earlier this week. That part, I'm ready to kind of have some regression talk, but not a panic talk, if that makes sense.
I feel like they're not entering a Super Bowl or bust season. They're entering a Super Bowl or bust period or window. Because you've got your coach, you've identified your quarterback, you've built a roster that should be very high caliber for. It's hard to project like anything beyond 3 years in the NFL. So call it the next 3 to 5 years. There's probably, if we're being realistic and we're being objective, there's probably another step to be taken. They haven't won a playoff game under Kevin O'Connell. So to say that with a first-year starter and a regime here for 3 years that has had a ton of regular season success, has not so much as even gone to the second round of the playoffs, to say that it's Super Bowl or bust in 2025 feels unrealistic until we see. Now, if we get into early November and they're like 8-1 or something, and oh my God, J.J. McCarthy is 2018 Patrick Mahomes, what's happening here? We can maybe change expectations, but it kind of feels like they have to win a playoff game or two, take another lump, get back to it in 2026, and then we can start really talking about Super Bowl or bust. But it feels like a window, not a season that becomes Super Bowl or bust to me.
And I feel like they are a playoff team. I feel like it'll be disappointing if they don't make the playoffs. And to Declan's point, if they win 11 games, I'm fine with that. My big thing now is this. Can you win playoff games? Like, can you finally get past that hump? And I would be a little bit more negative if they had brought back Darnold as the starter, because I don't trust that he can do that. I might be proven wrong. But, like, I'm actually more optimistic that they are committing. I'm giving them way more credit because they are, it looks like, committing to McCarthy. If they had gotten scared and said, Sam was really good, let's sign him to a 3-year contract, we'll worry about JJ later, I would have been, and was, at the time when the prospect appeared there, I was far more critical. So I guess part of the reason why I'm optimistic is I think the plan here, especially most importantly with the quarterback, is the right plan. If they had stuck with Sam, those last 2 games scared me a lot, and I'm not sure that Sam can handle that pressure. I'm not.
Yeah, well, and the market wasn't sure either, which is why he got half of what Dak Prescott got. Nathan Jones chimes in and says, can we talk about Kevin O'Connell's press conference at the owners' meetings this week? Dude had a bender the night before.
Okay.
So
I thought this too.
I didn't see this, so I'm excited.
I'm going to play a couple clips for you here, just a couple short little clips. And I remember thinking, because I had to go through and I had to watch it. I watched it. This will be like the 3rd time I've kind of combed through this. The first 2 times I was like, boy, he's got that kind of raspy. It's early in the morning. It's like 8:30 or whatever. And I don't know, did you guys see Jay Glazer put that video out of all the coaches hanging out, like drinking cocktails together?
Yep.
I think those guys go down there. It's the off season, free agency's over. It's kind of a little window here to cut it loose. They're hanging out with each other. The Shanahan system guys, drinking old fashions, whatever.
No question.
So I'll play you this first clip here, and you tell me, does KOC seem a little hungover?
Fire away.
Kevin, I want to ask about the backfield and bringing back Aaron Jones.
Just sucking down the coffee.
Oh my God.
Does that remind you of something? And by the way, to be clear, every one of us and the person that wrote that, my guess, is basically like none of us are like, oh man, I can't even envision that. God, like we've all been there. And it is early.
Oh. The comments are pretty unanimous after that.
You think
first
he's still
clip,
buzzed?
Yeah. I think he's still buzzed in the. Here, I'll play the next clip.
Okay.
All right. So the reporter's trying to ask him about Aaron Jones while he collects himself. Like, all right, fire away. Let me take a little sip of this thing. All right, here we go.
Yeah, I think the big thing we learned about Aaron Jones last year is he can be an every down back. He can be, he was a featured part of our offense.
Oh boy.
Okay. Can I just say that?
That hurts. That hurts me. Like I now feel hungover. Like that hurts my soul looking at that.
And he's got a full day of like media and meetings.
No. It's not that bad. I think they start him like at 7, and then they do a few things. But I think they go home that day. So like he's
got to travel that day.
So you can tie it on the night before. Now, in Kevin O'Connell's defense, I will say this: if you go through his press conferences of 2024. He is raspy a lot. I don't know if at first I thought he was sick, and then it's like, well, he still sounds like that. He still sounds like that. His voice is raspy, and he's like got a cold, it felt like constantly, and it looked like it there. But that also 100%, we've all been there, right? Where like we got to go to church the next day, and you're still like 21 or 18, and
21, dude. You don't get hungover when you're 21.
Yeah, well, I would kill for my day after drinking benders at 21.
My benders at 18, I'd wake up and be like, I shouldn't have done that.
Jeez.
But anyway, the voice being raspy, certainly a believable thing. So yeah, I think that's a big party night though. What is that? Tuesday into Wednesday?
Yeah.
I think that's like the fraternity of coaches time. And I told you guys, I covered the owners' meetings in Orlando, Florida in 2010. They also have, if they still do this, they had a coaches' golf tournament. And so the coaches all go out with their carts and the beer, and they all get if they want, tanked. And in 2010, That's when Goodell and the owners, while the coaches were on their exclusive golf course, got together and passed the OT rule that a team had to score a touchdown first.
Yeah.
So you couldn't field goal.
Story.
And the coaches got back, and they had passed the rule while the coaches were gone, and the coaches were pissed and drunk. I talked to Sean Payton.
Sunburned.
Sean Payton walked into the lobby, and he was not happy.
Fire away.
Kevin, I want to ask about the backfield and bringing back Aaron Jones.
It's Collar. Collar just jumped right in there.
That was Collar on there?
That's
Yeah.
Collar.
Collar, yeah.
He jumped right in.
I'm trying.
Sorry, Dex.
I'm trying to remember because I've had some of those games that Kevin O'Connell's playing right there. I'm trying to remember the last time though it was like that bad. I think I remember like during the pandemic when we were still when we had done the change. I think there was a movie rewind that I was hanging by a thread for. Like it was rough. But that type of feeling where like I'm stuck and I have to do this. It's in my opinion, it's way worse when you're traveling. My first trip to Vegas 2 years ago, the worst travel day, the most hungover I've ever been, and the worst possible place to be is on an airplane. And that airport stinks for being hungover in. That is not a good airport.
There's there's very limited. There's like a Chili's. They have way more slot machines and bars than they do like food.
Don't eat Chili's.
I love me some Chili's.
Yeah.
Eating good in the neighborhood?
Yeah, no, it's real good food. I'm just saying, the coach's breakfast. So you walk down, guys, and it is, of course, just fantastic, right? You got the high-end scrambled eggs. You got the waffles. You got all
High-end
this.
scrambled eggs.
I'm talking the good
free-range
stuff.
chicken?
Nothing
Is
cheap.
that what
You
we're
got the
doing?
omelets being made.
What constitutes high-end scrambled eggs?
Oh, there's a difference in scrambled eggs. Oh yeah. If you go to a good like the National Football League, don't go out.
They're
to
actual eggs. It's not like the mix that you get at the
it's the
Continental
good
Breakfast.
stuff.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, let's just say that you come downstairs, and that thing starts at like 7 Eastern. I mean, it's ridiculous. You come downstairs after a night of drinking and not much sleep, and now you've got the breakfast, which is great, and you're sucking down coffee. You're only going to last for so long before you got to make a quick trip to the restroom. That's all.
The last thing I'll say is the U.S. Bank Stadium press box dining experience has definitely helped me out after a wild Saturday night or two, because that omelet bar is divine. That is the best press box dining experience in my opinion there is.
Local Yokel says they're called soft scrambled eggs.
I didn't know that.
For future.
Well, they are high end. That's a sports day term. That the last time that I remember a night like that was actually a football thing too. It was the night before Access at the Combine, 2010, I believe it was, in Indy. Pelissero, who had just started at the time, at 1500 ESPN and I, at the Star Tribune at the time, went out and tied one on. And we're sitting there with like Vikings coaches and blah, blah, blah. I don't remember getting back to the hotel. And I guess Tom said, let's meet down here to walk to the stadium for access and stuff at like 8:30 or something. 8:32, my phone rings. Where are you?
Yeah.
I woke up and said, you got to give me a couple of minutes. I had slept right through. And I remember walking there and thinking, I can either feel sorry for myself, but I did this to myself, or I can power through the day.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to power through the day.
I would say of the top 5 drunkest nights I've ever had in my life, 2 of them involved Tom Pelissero. And I don't think he's like an alcoholic or anything. It just, we're all young, media
young.
guys, whatever.
You're young.
And one of them was 2009, and you remember it very well, or somewhat well, the next day. So Tom and I, it was training camp. Tom and I went to, it was 2010. It was 2010.
Yep.
It was because Favre had retired again, and it was kind of the dead of training camp, like a few days into training camp. There's not much going on. And we went to the owner of the old boom towns, like, you guys, come on, let's tie one on tonight. Little shots on me, right? And we wound up just absolutely going overboard at this Mankato bar. We stumble back over to the American across the parking lot. And morning, you wake up, and we're both just like, you're checking off the roster at special teams practice in the morning or whatever.
Humid.
It's humid. It's August.
Terribly
out,
humid.
baby.
And all of a sudden, news comes down that the Vikings are bringing Brett Favre back, but that they weren't, that he was staying retired or something. I can't remember what it was. Some big Brett Favre news hit that day.
Yes.
And Tom had to do we both had to do a bunch of media hits, but at one point he had to go on ESPN's Outside the Lines with Bob Lee. And it was just, the other one was, I think it was that same fall, we traveled to Green Bay for the Sunday night football game.
Oh, that's always a dangerous game.
Vikings-Packers.
That's very dangerous because you're there on Saturday night.
So we went to was it Brett Favre's Steakhouse on Saturday night and had a great time and hung out with some of the Domovsky, some of the Packers media guys. And the next morning, and you could sleep in because it's a Sunday night game, but he apparently had scheduled a radio hit, Tom did, for 6 in the morning, ESPN radio, whatever. And I'm sleeping on the couch and he's sleeping on an air mattress somewhere. And I hear his alarm go off. I think maybe his phone rang, and he answers it. And he goes, "Hello," and then it's kind of silence. And he goes, "Okay," and then another 30 seconds. It was the producer calling him saying, "Are you ready to talk some football with us?"
Hey, Tom. Good morning.
Okay, and I'm looking over there what's happening? Is he about to do a radio hit? Hey, yeah, and he snaps out of it to do this radio hit for 10 minutes, hangs up, passes back out. just legendary performance.
That's awesome.
All around.
That's awesome. But never schedule yourself, if it's a Sunday night game, for an early morning Sunday hit.
No.
Let yourself sleep in. That's brutal.
Okay, we'll get to the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line. I know that's what you probably all came here for here today in just a moment. But a shout out to Roku for helping power this Feedback Friday here today. So the Roku 65-inch TV in our living room at the Mackeys is really the thing that connects us after a long day, a long work week. We sit down this Sunday, going to watch a little White Lotus season finale together. You fire up your favorite TV shows, movies, sporting events. Big weekend for sports this weekend. Also, the frustration of where to find sports is definitely a thing. Where's my baseball team? Where is this and that? Roku can help with their Sport Zone. You can favorite and follow teams, and you can enjoy adjacent programming surrounding your team as well. They curate the experience for you, and you can find out more about these glorious TVs at Roku.com or shop at a retailer near you. Craft Beer Fest is coming up here too, boys.
Yeah, a little Craft Beer Fest should be an absolute blast. Really looking forward to this. It's held in the heart of Minneapolis, and this is your chance to sip on hard-to-find favorites and explore unique flavors alongside fellow beer lovers. It's Saturday, April 26th at the Minneapolis Convention Center from 1 to 5 o'clock. Over 80 breweries and craft beverages will be there. You can also enjoy some live music, local artists, games. Grab your tickets at MinnesotaCraftBeerFestival.com. That's MinnesotaCraftBeerFestival.com.
Yeah. Also, the Canopy Group is here on this Feedback Friday, Judd.
Indeed. And what we're talking about here, the Canopy Group, an in-state based independent insurance company that has, this is the most important thing, your best interest in mind. Much like a successful sports executive, constantly on the lookout for the best talent available, right? The Canopy Group is going to do the same for you when it comes to getting the best insurance coverage at the best price. They work with 16 groups of top-tier companies to make sure that you have the best insurance available for auto, home, health, and business. This is incredibly important. Also, at renewal, guess what they're going to do? They're going to review your policy so that you get the best deal possible. Give them a call, 1-800-967-3389, or go to their website. That is thecanopygroup.com, thecanopygroup.com, to make sure that your insurance roster is a winning one.
Reckless speculation.
All right, this first anonymous email comes. This will be your little warm-up. This one comes from Anonymous. I hope this message finds you guys well. This message is for the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line.
Oh, boy.
I'm reporting that I'm currently on a Sun Country flight from Orlando to Minneapolis. I don't have much time as they're telling us to turn our phones to airplane mode, but I need to report this one for you guys. I can confirm on this plane right now, heading to Minneapolis, is Darren Doogie Wolfson of the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department.
A scoop on the scoop guy.
I have more on that, too. I saw Dukes yesterday at Target Field, and I asked him about that because I know we kind of brought this up yesterday, and I was like, hey, did someone on your flight recognize you? And he goes, no, it's weird. Like, no one came up to me, but I got a few weird looks.
Yeah.
And then he said he was at Epcot this week with the family, and some guy passed him and just goes, Vikings guy, Doogie? So he got recognized at bleeping Epcot by some Purple Daily Vikings fan, too.
He's that big?
Worldwide, man.
He's that
worldwide.
important?
Yep. So, okay, here's the one that we were alluding to. And I'm just going to read it. I won't out this guy. Well, does he say anything? He says, don't mention my name or this company. Okay, I won't. I'll try not to mention those. This might fall under the reckless speculation category. Anonymous writes in.
Reckless speculation.
And I should put an extra, blanket on this. This is one of the most borderline anonymous tip line emails we've received in terms of, should we really read this on the show or not? We'll do our 1 to 10, how realistic is it at the end of this. But this is wildly reckless. In no way, shape, or form have we verified the truth of this, the validity of this. We can discuss the plausibility of it, but we feel like it's our obligation as the center of this Vikings fan community to not withhold information that comes in via the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line.
So if this were like a TV show, it would be combined with the disclaimer, do not try this at home.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so this is dangerous.
So this anonymous emailer says, this might fall under the reckless speculation category, but it comes from someone I trust, a close contact of mine who's heavily involved in the city planning in Green Bay. He's been part of multiple closed-door meetings with, I'll just say, top people, top men from the Indiana Jones movie.
Top men.
And women. Who would be very, very plugged into the Green Bay scene and the football team there, okay?
Okay, all right, so far.
During one of the recent meetings, things drifted off script during a lunch break. My contact was sitting near some people who would know. I'm couching some of these things for the safety of our anonymous emailer. What he picked up was that Matt LaFleur has been a little off for a while now. Described as burnt out, short with players. I mean, hell, you see that on the sidelines.
I was going to say, so far, you're good.
Yeah.
That guy is just he looks like he's ready to snap every time they show him on the sideline. So,
yeah.
But especially with Jordan Love, he even got into a shouting match with some front office people the week after the wild card loss. Apparently, it got bad enough that some people in the building were pushing for a reset or at least a wake-up call. Here's the wild part. Sometime around the Super Bowl, the Packers front office supposedly made a quiet call to the Vikings to ask about Kevin O'Connell's contract situation. It wasn't a formal request, just a feeler, maybe even done through a mutual connection in the league office. The idea wasn't necessarily to hire Kevin O'Connell, but to put Matt LaFleur on notice, a don't think you're untouchable type of a move. One interesting nugget, the timing of that call lined up almost exactly with when the rumors started swirling that KOC's contract extension talks were heating up. That Jake Glazer report came out. That was was that the day of the Super Bowl that came out?
It dovetails perfectly, yes.
My guy thinks the Vikings accelerated the deal after word of that call reached them, almost like they were locking the door before someone tried to open it.
Yep.
Anyways, not claiming any of this is gospel, but the people involved are legit, and the dots connect a little too cleanly to ignore.
The Glazer report came out, I believe it was the morning of the last regular season game against the Lions. I think it was the day. I think it was the morning of that game, and right now I'm going to tell you I definitively put an 8 on this. 8 out of 10. I buy it completely. We previously thought it was the Bears who were... I think that was the rumor, that the Bears were sniffing around O'Connell's contract status. So, okay, if it was the Bears, it could be the Packers. LaFleur, like this, yes, this makes perfect sense. I don't think this is as inflammatory as the Asante Samuel Jr. one, just because this one makes as much sense or more.
Here's a question for you. So, because and it's Cliff Jordan says 8.5. The audience saying Jake says 7.
Jaden says 9.
9. I think I'm with Judd. It's like an 8. Dex, where are you at?
Yeah, I would say about an 8. Also, like the Packers, I feel like if they don't get a playoff win or like have sustained success in big games, like the conversation of moving on from Matt LaFleur is realistic. It's totally realistic. This is coming from the closet Packer fan on this show, right? I think if they can't win a playoff game, yes, I think his job's in jeopardy, 100%.
Is he always in a bad mood, or is he the victim of resting bitch face?
Oh, his stupid, I'm sorry.
But he's got
stupid
resting
little
bitch
chin
face.
strap, it drives me insane. His face drives me nuts. I can't stand it. And he's throwing temper tantrums and pouting on the sidelines all the time.
I think it goes beyond a resting bee face for sure. I think
but he does have that look. Like he always looks like the kid that just drank sour milk.
Real quick, the part of this that really is
this.
intriguing to me is that the idea that maybe it was done through a mutual connection in the league or league office.
Yeah.
Jay Glazer was the one that dropped this bombshell. And Jay Glazer literally like hangs out with NFL players, coaches, executives. He trains with them at his mixed martial arts gym. He was at you saw that video we talked about earlier. He's at the NFL owners meetings with 32 NFL coaches drinking cocktails around the pool and Jay Glazer. It's like
no one
all
else
of them.
is there.
Is it possible the Packers reached out? Because this is what happens. In Judd, you've been much more on the reporter side than us, but like in your career, the highest level NFL insiders are valuable to teams because they know a ton of information. So if I'm the Packers and I want to get information on something, I can't just like call the Vikings because then the Vikings might leak that the Packers have turmoil. But you could go to a reporter, a Schefter or a Glazer or a Pelissero or somebody and say, hey, I'll float you something in exchange here, but like, just what do you know about why haven't the Vikings? Did the Packers call Jay Glazer and say, why haven't the Vikings extended O'Connell yet? Is there trouble in paradise there? What's going on? And Glazer says, I can check on it for you. But now Glazer knows that the Packers reached out about Kevin O'Connell.
Totally believable. Yes, totally. And I do think that outgoing Packer president Mark Murphy has a pretty high esteem in the league, so he could have checked with the league. He could have checked with Glazer. But yeah, I think that the quid pro quo thing that you're talking about, Phil, is huge. Guys definitely call Rappaport, Pelissero, Schefter. Glazer's a wild card though, because he's one of the few true information men left.
Mm-hmm.
Like the insider job now is a lot of transactional stuff, contracts, who got what, it's important, not saying it's not, but Glazer is a throwback to when you were just hunting information, which is my favorite. So yes, this is totally plausible. And again, if the rumor was the Bears, why not the Packers? And I could see with Murphy departing after the season because the Packers have a mandatory retirement age. I think it's 65. But I could see them saying, your guy LaFleur has gotten a little bit too cantankerous, a little bit too, and so let's prod him to come back to earth a bit. So I love this. I'm buying this.
Super interesting. Okay, let's see here. John in Jersey chimes in here to the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line. Hey, Phil, Judd, Dex, regarding your anonymous tip line, I've had my eyes and ears open on the Vikings in South Jersey.
Oh, boy.
Sad to say I got nothing. Yeah, I've been drinking, but I find that drinking is indispensable when trying to find Vikings information. But I'll keep my ears open in South
That's 100%
Jersey.
right. That's 100% right. You know what you got to do? You got to find out the bars and restaurants that the Wilfs frequent, because there's a lot of them, and they're all, as far as I know, in Jersey.
Yep.
And you got to be in those bars, at the bar. And if you're sipping a cocktail, I got no problem with that, John.
I love John reaching out with probably I don't know, a blood alcohol level of something he shouldn't be driving with and saying, I got nothing, but
he's
I'm
checking
here.
in.
I'm here for you guys.
Right, but he's checking in. It's incredibly important that people check in so that we know they're on the clock.
Right. Okay, Hunter said, I started listening to you guys last season. You guys are great. However, I didn't realize how popular or how much influence you guys have. I've been seeing all kinds of articles based on what you guys talk about. Just read a Sports Illustrated article that was based on the anonymous source on the Asante Samuel Jr. thing at the nightclub. Love it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy what gets aggregated. Do you think the Matt LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell thing that we just read will get aggregated?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, well, but it also depends. Like, the one thing, too, is I think that you have to look at who picks it up, right? So, like, if it's a blog, sort of blog, like if the Judd Substack did, that's aggregating it, but it's not, like, top shelf. But, like, if it gets to, I don't know, an SI.
Pro Football Talk or something.
Yeah, exactly. So there's different. I don't think that all aggregators are the same. So, yes, this will be. The level that it stops at might be pretty low.
So blogs are your rail whiskey, and when the bartender,
But I'm saying, like,
want to upgrade there? Do you want some Tito's maybe in that? Do you want some Belvedere? What type of top shelf do you want?
Exactly right. But, like, if I get done today and I go Judd Substack, right? And I write, you know what? This sounds good. Good tip. I'm aggregating our information, but I'm not like a top tier guy. I'm a cheap. What type of booze would it?
Are you a Canadian whiskey guy? What's that? Canada
Windsor.
Dry.
Okay, yeah,
That's
exactly.
Okay.
Windsor.
I'm not top shelf.
Windsor Canadian. That's
Windsor
what.
Canadian.
I'm bottom shelf.
Put some respect on Canada Dry ginger ale. That's great ginger ale.
That's right. It's good. I'm not going to fight you there. Okay, Marissa says, good morning. I'm a lifelong Vikings fan. However, due to a serendipitous discovery of Purple Daily, this is the first year I've paid attention to the offseason. While free agency makes sense to me, the draft is more of an enigma. Could you guys go in depth on how one defines a good draft? I've heard much bemoaning about the 2022 draft, but what makes it the worst? Could you perhaps compare it to the last couple drafts of the Spielman era? Just a thought. Thanks for all you do. I'm thoroughly enjoying my first silly offseason. Once you discover off-season football content,
It's great.
and the news cycle and stuff, it's in some cases better than the regular season.
Oh God, yeah. Give me March over September any day.
Yeah, I mean, give me November and December and January over most, because now we're like really into the thick of
But
things.
March
The
and
weather's
April?
turning. Yeah. On the draft thing, and for our Saturday checkdown episode, we have another question that revolves around like a 10-year audit of the Vikings drafts. So we'll do a deeper dive on that. But I mean, generally, like the 2022 draft, if you have basically no reliable starting players from an entire draft class, it's a huge failure. You're never going to bat 1,000. But I think if you go in and you have anywhere between 6 and 8 draft picks, you should land minimum 3 starter caliber players, or like 2 starters and like a special teams ace rotational guy. Anecdotally. And there's been some deep dives on this throughout the internet, but you can't go like 0 for 8 or whatever they went in 2022.
No, and look, your first 3 rounds should be legitimate potential or just flat out starters.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is, and this is a credit to the Chiefs, look at how often there's like a 6th round pick on the Chiefs that makes it.
And
it
the
feels like
Vikings
it's a
used to do
lot.
that. The Vikings
They
used
did?
to do that. John Sullivan,
yeah.
Stephon Diggs. I mean, it's...
Yep, you're
Yeah.
right.
Let's see here. John Karg, 2528 from the YouTube comment section. Click that like button, the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you, guys. So he comments on the recent Purple Access where Kevin Seifert was your guest this week, filling in for our guy Chip Scoggins.
Good stuff.
He said, I think Purple Daily needs to do this more often. Get the local media involved. Constantly listening to Thor, Doogie, and Chip as the 3 only main characters can get really stale for me. Do we need to invite more like local Vikings media people?
I mean, my guy
on the
Chip's
show?
special. I'd take umbrage at that. But yeah.
Love Chip. Love me some Chip.
Yeah, Chip's great. We
Well,
certainly could.
Seifert's on. Like Seifert's
That's Seifert.
kind
I
of
bring
become a
Seifert on. I bring Seifert on, yeah.
probably more of a question for the audience than it is for us. If
Do
you
a
guys
poll.
demand that we get different Vikings media people on,
Do a poll.
you let us know.
Find out. Who do you want?
And for flagrant howls. Alexander says, get Paul Allen on and battle it out. Are they even allowed to acknowledge us still? I feel like it's been years and years, and they're like the parent company or the management does not like. You'll very rarely hear Judd or Phil or Dex or Purple Daily. I don't think they're allowed to even say the words Purple Daily in the same sentence.
I was going to say, Al, I don't sense that management there has an interest in our stuff or our names,
they get in
quite
trouble.
frankly.
They get in trouble behind the scenes
so.
if they make eye contact.
Which is fine. You know what? That's fine. As you guys know, aside from a very small group of people I like, I prefer to be left alone.
Yeah, small circle.
Yeah, very small circle. I mean, I got some guys I love, no question about it. Outside of that group, I don't really need new friends.
Michael Dawkins wants to be your friend. He sends a note in here. He says, come on, you guys are getting dry. It would be nice if you would cater to us that have been following the Vikings since they came into the league in 1960. We've been to four
61.
freaking Super Bowls. It's true, 1961.
First season.
Now, I know youngsters cry over the Atlanta missed field goal, but damn, since 1960, us fans have suffered a long time too. So how about you be good boys and at least do a profile on an old player of the 1960s for us old fans of the Tundra?
Profile? We don't do profiles.
We generally don't. But it's time now for a history lesson from old Macadac, specifically for listener Michael Dawkins here.
Hold on, I'm going to take a little nap while you're doing this. I'm tuckered after all the beer I sucked down last night.
I'm gonna take you on a journey.
Go ahead, fire away.
A journey back through Vikings history.
Go ahead, fire away.
It's a history lesson here going back to the 1960s. Let's talk about the Purple People Eaters here, specifically a man who does not get enough recognition. You're all familiar with three of the four main Purple People Eaters, right? Alan Page, Carl Eller, and Jim Marshall.
Yep.
But the fourth guy, who doesn't get talked about nearly enough, is, in bobblehead form here, defensive tackle number 77, Gary Larson.
Football. Look at this. Look at this man.
Old Gare. So Gary Larson, a Fargo, North Dakota native who played 8-man football in high school and then played college football at Concordia Moorhead. Was that Division III in the 1950s?
Division
wasn't
II
it
right
wasn't
now.
Big
You did the research. Yeah. Don't ask me.
So he played 8-man football in high school, college football at Concordia, 10th round draft pick by the Rams, traded to the Vikings after his rookie season, and then spent a decade with the Vikings, including 3 Super Bowls, 2 Pro Bowls. He racked up 10 sacks in the 1968 season and was voted in 2010 one of the 50 greatest Vikings players ever. The forgotten Purple People Eater, Gary Larson. We celebrate you.
Number 77. Go, Gary. Go, Gary. He appreciated that. Look at that. He's bobbing his head.
I feel like he's a little bit of a Ring of Honor snub, not going to lie.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Just a little bit.
I mean, there's a lot now, though. I feel like there's a lot. Anthony Carter, we've talked about. Gary Larson. There's a handful of guys that could easily be there. Tommy Kramer's been talked about quite a bit.
Old Tommy Kramer.
My guy.
So, all right, boys, I believe it's getting close to time here for the snake draft of the week. But, it might be golf season here. Looking out the window, the sun is shining. It's in the 40s. I'll golf all day long.
Getting there, baby.
This weather.
We're getting there. You can actually book a tee time at the Meadows at Mystic Lake. golfthemeadows.com. Golf the Meadows is a great place to get in around. I know some of our Purple Daily audience at the draft party. They're like, Dex, we're teeing off on tomorrow at 2:00. You got to be there. Unfortunately, old Dex Tweets had to do more draft coverage. But love that our Purple Daily audience goes to the Meadows at Mystic Lake. Send us a picture from a tee box, from a green. They have those great GPS-equipped carts, so know exactly what you're looking at. Go to golfthemeadows.com to book that next tee time. Amen.
Judd, tell the audience about your jersey that you're wearing right now.
Right here, folks. Right here. Sports Dad, not in violation of any of the rules, of course, when it comes to our jerseys. In fact, I am wearing a World Junior Hockey Championship jersey because that is coming to town next December 26th at the X. This is the best annual tournament in hockey. It is a who's who of future pros. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, tournaments each year in any sport. It runs December 26th through January 5th, but you can lock in your tickets now. Group play packages are on sale now. Go to worldjuniorsmn26.com. That's worldjuniorsmn26.com. These are 16 game packages for Group A or Group B, preliminary games, as well as quarterfinals, semifinals, the bronze and gold medal games. I'm telling you, this is, I don't think I've been this excited about an event coming to town, including the Super Bowl, as I am about the World Junior Hockey Championships.
Wow. The Super Bowl, the World Junior Hockey Championships, WWE SummerSlam next summer. We are just an event town.
I
here.
am going to be in a very precarious predicament because hopefully the Vikings are good, and this tournament runs like right around at that time. So I might tell Dawn I will not be home for like 2 weeks. You might not just see me for 2 weeks.
You're gonna sleep at the rink.
I might just go to the X.
This is Judd's WrestleMania plus Super Bowl times 10.
I might go to the X or St. Paul and like stay there. But here's the thing: she won't mind. She'll get the
I think
TV.
she'll be totally cool with this.
She'll be totally cool with it. Stella, cool with it. So, but anyway, fantastic.
Yeah. North American Banking Company, also a shout out to them here. 6 locations across the Twin Cities: Maple Grove, Roseville, Shoreview, Hastings, Woodbury, 50th in France. And as we've been talking about for a few months here, they specialize in personal relationships and cutting edge online tools. Friendly, knowledgeable people. Yes, an actual face-to-face relationship, a human relationship with your bank. What a novel concept in 2025. So whether you're looking for just a better basics experience with checking and savings, or you're looking to finance something big, maybe it's a new home you're buying, they can help with the mortgage process. Maybe it's a new business or something big you're looking to finance. Check them out. North American Banking Company, nabankcode.com/Mackey. That's nabankcode.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. All right, dudes. I believe the draft order, and Dex, you can tell us, I think AJ won again last week, right?
He destroyed you guys.
Just dominates every time he's
Dominated.
on. Guy's
good.
ridiculous.
He's real good.
So I believe that the draft order this week, just based on the evolution of last week, is Judd with the number 1 pick, Dex, and then me with the 3rd pick, and then the wraparound. I don't know how you guys want to factor in the trade that you made like 3 weeks ago and when that comes back around. But Judd, Dex, Phil, and then Phil, Dex, Judd on the snake draft here. And the draft today is favorite or best reality television shows. Any questions off that? Judd?
Yeah, sir, my question is this. Do sports shows qualify, i.e. The Real World, or I'm sorry, Hard Knocks and Quarterback?
Yes.
Oh, God, okay. Thank you.
Interesting.
I was
Unless you want to fight that, Dex.
Real World reference.
Well, full disclosure. I personally think if it was like just your more black and white network TV and like cable channel reality TV shows, I felt like Mackey's the -500 betting favorite to win this because do you consume a lot of reality TV, Judd?
Of course not. No.
Like I don't consume a ton of reality TV. Like nothing current really.
Oh, I'm surprised.
No, I'm not really. I got into The Bachelor a little bit like 5 years ago, and then it pissed me off so much I blacklisted it.
Good for you.
But if
Mike Posh here.
Yeah, I guess if those are available, then that does change a little bit my strategy as well.
I mean, a documentary is such a wide-ranging...
Right.
Yeah, I think it's more of a doc. I think that's more of a documentary. I don't think that's a reality TV show. Like
which one?
Reality,
both of them? Hard Knocks and Quarterback, or just Quarterback?
Well, but they're both pretty much the same production.
They're both the same
right?
thing.
NFL films.
I feel like those are more sports documentaries than they are reality TV. Like
so, yeah. If you want to take like docu-series off the table,
all right,
that probably makes this more fun. I think where it gets a little gray is like there are some reality shows that include physical competition.
Yes, true.
But those are also reality shows too.
True.
Yeah.
So if something pops up. Like, what about, like, it's not on my big board, but, like, The Voice. That's, like, almost too much. It's almost, like, 100% competition.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a healthy blend of, if it's a competition show, it also has to be documenting, like, the living situation and other things.
So The Voice is out. American Idol's out, right?
Yeah. But like MTV's The Challenge would be in because 50% of that show is the behind the scenes stuff, right? Okay. I don't want to spoil all the big board stuff here, but
All right.
all right.
I'm
So
prepared.
Judd, you get the number one overall.
Thank you
pick.
very much. I have clarity, and with the number one overall pick, I will take the aforementioned by me by accident, Real World. I'm going to take, now my question is, do I have to take a specific Real World, or can I just take the franchise?
The franchise.
Yeah, you can take the franchise, and also, I mean, I didn't plan to like grab season 12 if you want.
Okay, all right. I
season
just want to make
6.
sure.
No.
Sometimes we get very particular on this show. I'm among friends here. I'm asking questions, and Dex is right. I do not watch. I haven't watched a reality show in 20 years. Like, I watched the Real World Los Angeles in 1993 when I was 23 closely. I liked that one. So if I had to take a particular show, I will take the franchise. I will also say that spin-off show that became the, what's it called? Road Rules Channel?
Well, hold on, dude. Just make your pick. Make your pick.
Is crap.
What?
It's crap. That show is crap. It's terrible. Dawn liked it. Crap. Real World is my pick.
Just make your pick.
I wanted to insult that other one because the Road Rules Channel.
Let him insult it. Let him insult it. It's
absolute
okay.
crap. Garbage.
Let him insult it.
All right, Dex is on the clock here.
All right, yeah, I'm taking. I was big into reality TV shows from the era kind of Judd's talking about, more that network that Judd's talking about. I don't really watch reality TV anymore, but I'll take this one because it was huge when I was in high school. Give me the Jersey Shore.
Oh, that's a.
Give me the Jersey Shore. It is so bad that it's great. It is so bad.
I feel like half the cast spent some time in jail at one point or another. DJ Pauly D has like a Vegas residency now.
Yeah.
Good call.
We're going to go MTV clean sweep in the first round. No, you know what? We're not. I get back to back here, but I want my official first round pick to be Love is Blind on Netflix here.
Okay. Phil should win this, by the way.
Yeah, minus 500.
Phil should
it'd be a big drop.
Putting pressure on me now to.
Yeah.
It would be the Jets over the Colts if Phil does not win this.
Jets over the Colts
from
Super Bowl
60
3?
years ago.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like
Joe
Giants
Namath,
over
number
Patriots
one?
the first time, but
famous
yeah.
Super Bowl win.
So yeah, Love is Blind. They just did their season 8 or whatever it was in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Very exciting. And then I will take MTV's The Challenge, the crap show that Judd speaks of here.
I knew you'd like
as
that.
my second round
like
pick.
that. You know what? The Real World started to suck when they gave them jobs and then they took them out of the house. Just let them fight in the house and drink and have sex, okay?
Yeah, I mean they still did all those things and had jobs.
I know,
It just,
but then they're like, we're going to start a cafe. Why? These people don't want to start a cafe. I hated that. I
they need
hated
to be
it.
responsible. They
I
need to
liked
learn
it
how
when
to-
they had just the pool, the meltdowns, the confessional. I love the confessional.
Back to Dex in the second round here.
All right, sticking on the MTV train.
Wow.
Give me Punked. I loved Punked with Ashton Kutcher. That was a reality TV show, right? I mean, it was him reality. They was punking people, or is this too much of a gray area?
It's a gray area, but I think
I'd give it to him.
I think we're going to give it to you.
I'm about to ask on one too.
Okay, I have a decent big board of shows.
Yeah, I do too.
My strategy here is to go for shows that my generation loved. That is my strategy to win this one. So I'm going to go with Punked.
Okay.
Two for me now?
Judd on the clock here for your last two picks. Yes, back to back.
Okay. With my second pick, I'm going to take Vanderpump Rules. Vanderpump Rules based on...
Judd just won.
What? Chaz? What was it? Chaz?
Just no Chaz.
Haven't watched a second of that show in my life.
The dude, Jax.
Jax.
It was Jax. Chaz.
Judd,
it's all the same. That's all
Judd
the
is
same.
picking a show that I don't think he has actually watched an episode of.
I would come into the room, and Dawn liked it, and Jax would inevitably be causing problems. And the thing I liked about Jax is he was a total lush, and he would look awful at times, and he was still super popular. The ladies
Pretty sure
loved
his
Jax.
marriage blew up recently. I think he had a spin-off show. Yeah, the whole thing.
Is this the one with Jay Cutler's wife?
No, that's Kristen Cavallari you're talking about, or is he dating one of
his ex-wife now? Sorry,
Kristen
Cavallari. She was initially on Laguna Beach like 20 years ago.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
and The
Laguna
Hills.
Beach, also great shows.
Yes.
And then she was on. They had a reality show together, her and Jay Cutler, and then it kind of.
Yeah.
And man, was he a dead ass. He was a dead ass. Jay Cutler was. Mm-hmm. I have a question. I think this is a no, but just in case, I'm going to make sure. Because I found a list that actually had this as a reality show. Is Jackass a reality show?
Yes, I think so.
I'm asking. I've got a bigger list.
I guess if Punked is, then I think
it's
you
more
have
of
to
a
include Jackass.
Punked and Jackass are kind of.
Okay, but it's not necessarily. That's fine. I've got more.
No, I mean, Punked and Jackass are very similar. You're like,
you know what? Forget it.
But you could take Jackass.
I'm back with a new pick. Number 3. Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Oh,
God,
man.
all in.
You know what? Screw it. I'm going all in.
I've dabbled. Yep.
Also,
that show is pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Oh, I hope they're all bad.
What a draft board for Judd here. We're back to Dex for your final pick.
All right. Last one for me. Again, sticking in the same era. Flavor of Love.
That's my list. That was on my list too, baby.
Actually, if ones I enjoyed more, I actually loved season 1 of Rock of Love with Bret Michaels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was heavily invested into that show as a 13-year-old, and I had no business being that invested into that show. It was one of those shows that, like, because I had older siblings, they all loved MTV. It was one of the times where even my parents were like, "Why are you letting your baby brother watch this with you? He has no business watching this television show." But I loved Flavor of Love was much more obnoxious and great. So give me Flavor of Love.
Yeah, my claim to fame is I was once. How do I explain the context here? I used to be in the poker world a little bit, and I was at Doyle Brunson's World Series of Poker party at Sapphire Gentlemen's Club in Las Vegas in 2009, I want to say, 2010. And a fine woman who was employed at Sapphire came over and sat down. And I looked at her and I was like, "I'm sorry, were you on Rock of Love season 2 by chance with Bret Michaels?" And she goes, yes, Frenchie. From Rock of Love season 2.
Yeah, I'm a Frenchie.
Doing very well at Sapphire in
Good for
Las
her.
Vegas back in the day, 15 years ago.
Good for
Yep.
her. Love that
So
for her.
good to see her doing well, thriving. All right, I know people are going to be pissed because the UDFA board is going to include Survivor. It's going to include
Yeah,
Big
AJ's
Brother.
pissed
I don't care.
It's going to include The Bachelor. But my third round pick is going to be the Peacock Extravaganza, The Traitors, with Alan Cumming and a bunch of random reality stars from other shows. Give me The Traitors. Are you a faithful or are you a traitor?
I'm not familiar with the Traitors.
Dude, telling you, a couple IPAs and a few episodes of
I've heard
The
good
Traitors will change your life.
There is a common theme to all 3 of our drafts, and it's intriguing, and I think it's justified. There is not one that I see network TV show.
No.
It's MTV, it's
They're all
streaming.
cable.
They're all
Yeah.
it's cable or streaming.
Yeah.
Which is why Survivor is one of the most overrated franchises,
Oh,
I
those
think.
are fighting words to AJ.
I mean, there's like
Be careful.
50
People love
seasons of
Survivor.
it.
I'm no big Survivor fans, and I just it just bores me. Plus, they count every different incarnation as a season. So like technically now we're on like season 50 of Survivor. Screw you, it's not season 50.
AJ
Wow, how
and
is
our-
it not? What do you
It
mean?
started because they're trying to make it sound like season.
They do 2 a year for 25 years.
But you don't get a season for it's one season. The 2 are one. You don't get to award yourself. Well, this is another season.
Crap.
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh.
Well,
man,
and what's the
I'm
one where
pissed. I should've
Pawn
grabbed
Stars?
that.
Pawn Stars
Pawn
is good
Stars,
too.
that's a
I
good
should
one.
have grabbed
yeah.
Dog. I'm upset. That's a miss.
Dog
I'm
was
pissed
great.
about that. I
Well,
should have
here's
Dog.
what the results are. So Judd winds up with The Real World, Vanderpump Rules, and The Kardashians. All 3 shows that the Mackeys have dabbled in. Dex winds up with Jersey Shore, Punked, and Flavor of Love. And then I go with Love is Blind, MTV's The Challenge, and Traitors. All right.
AJ says on your Survivor hatred, Judd is talking absolute nonsense about your regarding 50 seasons.
It is, yeah. It's clearly 2 different
You don't-
seasons,
you
like
don't- no,
different
no, if it's-
casts, everything.
Yeah, but it's shot in the same calendar year. You only get one season for it.
But they shoot it separately, like in different locations?
Right, but you don't get a season. But you got to pick, if you show the franchises within the same calendar year, that's one season for both.
I feel like this is a fundamental misunderstanding of what a season is, though.
Agreed.
But the problem is, it would then be everything. Like you could technically then shoot different shows and say, well, that's 2 seasons. Well, no, it's 1 season. You only get 1 season.
Judd dying on this hill.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, I'm not coming off this hill. like that would be like if you took all of the CSI franchise, right? Because by the end there were a bunch of them, and said this is season. So like the original season 1, Miami season 2. No, that's season 1 for them. You only get 1 season.
It's just
no,
not
it's a different show. It's like CSI Miami is a different show than whatever
but it's
the
still
other.
the Survivor
Yeah.
shows.
I think you're viewing this as like sports seasons. Like
No. I'm viewing this as television seasons. This has never been done.
Different
This has
shows.
never been done before. This is a new thing. It's not season, as I just saw there, 48. It's 1 per year. It's season 25 of Survivor. You do not get to double dip.
This is top 5 most aggressively Judd's died on any hill in 10 years, and I'm here for it. This is great.
Oh yeah, I'm not coming off this one. Like, we can debate if the franchise is garbage. I don't like it, but and look, if you do, awesome. But the season thing is not a debate. It is 1 season every calendar year, even if it's 2 shows.
The voting will be available, by the way, on
Law
the
and
Snake
Order?
Draft
They
on
don't
the Score North Twitter and the
It's
X
season
account.
75 of Law and Order because we shoot different
That's
shows with
different.
the same
no,
name.
it's totally different. Totally different.
we have we done sitcoms? We haven't done sitcoms, have we? TV sitcoms?
I don't think so. Let's add it to the
add that to the
old
list as
I
well.
suggested bands, and then Dex came back with a great one.
overrated
Overrated.
bands.
Oh,
I like that more than my suggestion. I think that's
got
a
a
brilliant
big board.
suggestion.
It's great.
I got
Okay.
a big
Oh
board.
God, and I got a bad feeling about some of yours that could get you in some trouble.
I got some hot takes
There-
on
My number 1 pick is already like burning in my head. I think next week, let's do the overrated bands next week.
All right.
Let's do it. All right. Start thinking out. All right. This is Purple Daily. Thanks for hanging out with us
Who's
on
gonna
a
say the
Feedback
Beatles? Come
Friday.
on!
We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.